What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down some new developments going into next week for the markets. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. Not to mention 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. Conference very soon in just one day. Anyways, now let's talk about the market. So, as far as Tesla's going right here, we're forming a very, very nice looking cup like structure. And there could be a handle that's forming if we hold above our key levels. There's always a new possibility of this new development after this bullish news that came out. Wedbush analysts are coming out and they're saying that Tesla could once again not only surpass the $1 trillion market cap, but also get to about $1.52 trillion in market cap, bringing the share price into the $600 area. Many Wedbush analysts are very, very bullish on Tesla, and that's making investors very excited, at least for the future moving forward. So I think that a lot of good news coming out, and the fact that the market's at all-time highs, there's a good chance that this could also help Tesla continue to push. But the question is, what's going to affect Tesla in the market? And that's why I want to talk about that first before I break down more details. So just know this. Going into next week, there's not really much data coming out, at least when it comes to earnings. Earnings are going to be very, very minor. Monday does not really have much. On Tuesday, we have some minor banks announcing earnings, not to mention Salesforce. And then for Wednesday, we have Chewy, not to mention Foot Locker and Dollar Tree. And then for Thursday, we have Dollar General, TD Bank, and a few more. But for the most part, everything is going to be very minor for earnings. However, the data that comes out is going to be a lot more serious because on Monday, we have the ISM manufacturing numbers coming out, so expect some volatility, and we'll see what happens with manufacturing prices and new orders. For Tuesday, we have the JOLTS job openings reports, so we'll see what happens with these job numbers. Get ready for some more volatility when those are released. For Wednesday, we have more ISM services data numbers coming out at 10 o'clock a.m. And then don't forget at 1:45 p.m., we have the big guy, Jerome Powell, giving a speech. Whatever Jerome Powell says could cause some high volatility, so get ready for that. On top of that, for Thursday, we happen to have some exports and import prices, not to mention a couple of bill auctions, so get ready for that. And then last but not least, for Friday, we happen to have some very important numbers coming out when it comes to non-farm payrolls and unemployment numbers. So we have some major data coming out almost every single day. And then don't forget, Jerome Powell gives a speech on Wednesday. Besides that, when it comes to the fear and greed index, right now, greed is making up the majority of sentiments because there's a lot of buyers who are returning and they're pushing the market back to all-time highs. Momentum for the S&P 500 is now once again extremely greedy, breaking past the 6,000 mark. The market remains bullish. On top of this, the puts and call option ratio is continuing to dump on the 5-day average because there's a lot of these puts being closed, a lot more call buying that's going on. And that's once again continuing to help the market push. So there's still a lot more buyers stepping in. The market's not ready to dump. The VIX is also continuing to fall. There's no sign of a bounce yet. So going back to Tesla, what do I see for this moving forward? Well, there's a big shift now because we got some bullish news involving Wedbush's analysis and the fact that Tesla's back above this resistance. It managed to break past the 340 area, which is a very, very good sign. I was talking about how I thought Tesla would likely be kind of range bound, and as today was like the last day of the month, it's a Friday, not to mention a short trading day. But instead, we got a lot of volume, and now the 4 hours starting to look very promising on our PPO. So hypothetically, if Tesla loses 340, look for 332 as the main support. If that fails us, we have the support right here at 327, not to mention the gap fill all the way down to 321. So keep those levels in mind. As long as Tesla's above 340, however, it has the potential to push up to not only 350, but then 353, which is where this imbalance happens to be, and then all the way back up towards the 360s. So keep those levels in mind. Looking at the fact that Tesla has a nice cup and then handle extraction, the fact that we're holding up very nicely, I would say the chart is favoring upside a bit more. I think that as long as Tesla does not lose 340, we're going to likely continue to push, and this could be looking like a cup and handle that's forming for the 350s to be coming early next week, if not to break once again through those highs. So overall, Tesla looks more bullish on the 4-hour time frame as we approach December. When you look at the monthly time frame on Tesla, as we just got a monthly close, the month of November was pretty strong for Tesla, very, very strong monthly close, which typically suggests more upside could be coming as you approach the end of the year. Then, when you look at other factors like the daily charts, this is holding up decently. So the daily is showing that Tesla had some tough resistance. However, the daily candlestick does look a little bit more bullish, and it could suggest more upside could be coming at least temporarily. And then the weekly, that's going to be the last one I talk about. The weekly is so-so for Tesla, not as strong looking. So the majority of technical signals are still suggesting Tesla has some more momentum building. As long as we hold above the 340 area, I think Tesla could be forming a cup and handle, and there could be more upside potential. We'll be watching these levels next week just for confirmation. Just know that Tesla's looking more bullish. For SPY, I mentioned everyone, as long as we don't lose 600, we're looking for 602.5 as our target. If we lost to 600, I'd be looking for essentially 598. I called out those levels. And what happened is we held 600 very nicely. And I think as long as we're above these previous all-time highs, we're still favoring more upside. And what I mean by that is this. Look at this zone right over here, the 601 area. As long as SPY is above that, we're looking for essentially 604. And then 605 is our target, followed by 607.5 above that. So there's a lot of potential to get close to 605 as long as we're above 601. If we lose 601, we'll be looking for a dip back down to about 600 and 598. But as of right now, there's no sign of rejection. The market remains very strong, very bullish. So it's still favoring the upwards move, and we could be looking for an attempt to get back up towards these highs. As long as there's no bad news, the market favors and wants to continue to go a little bit higher. So we could be getting closer to 605 on SPY. The chart remains bullish. ES looks more bullish as well. We're looking for 6,060 as our resistance. If we break that, we're looking for 6,080 as we continue to look more bullish. For other factors out there, we have the Nvidia stock. As long as Nvidia does not lose 135.9, we're still favoring that we might try to push. Might be a small dip here before it tries to continue. If we do dip and then reclaim 138, we're looking for essentially 140 as our target, especially the 50 EMA. So I see some more upside potential on Nvidia. For Bitcoin, we look more bullish as we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure. As long as it does not lose 95,000, we're favoring a pushback up to about 99,000. I think Bitcoin remains more bullish, especially after what Kathy Wood said. I do believe she said that Bitcoin could surpass 125,000 for the year. That's always a possibility. It still looks bullish to me nonetheless. NQ looks more bullish as long as it does not lose 20,869. It looks like it wants to be retesting 21,000. If that breaks, we're looking for 21,100. The 4 hours about to get a PPO crossover and looks quite good. The QQQ, it got bought back up thanks to Apple, Nvidia, and many other big tech stocks. And as you guys can see, we haven't lost 505. If we lost 505, I would turn more bearish. Because we haven't done that, we got bought back up nicely. We look more bullish now on the bigger time frames. So I think we could be pushing for this 512 area as a stronger possibility. The chart is still favoring more upside going into Monday. As long as there's no bad news, we favor 512 or above. For Apple, we look more bullish, looking for 238 as our potential target. If that breaks, we could be pushing for 240. And nonetheless, the chart's doing a very good job. MSTR is making lower highs, but we need to try to break past 440 to remain bullish. It does have some potential to try to reclaim this support, but I want to see it break past 400 and 420. Overall, it's holding support very nicely above 380, so there's no sign that this is rejecting, but there's also no sign it's really breaking out strongly. We're stuck in the middle. We could attempt to get back up to about the 408 area, but we'll have to see about that as time goes on. For the IWM Russell 2000, I would say we're also looking more bullish. If we manage to break past 244, we'll be looking for a much bigger push back up to these higher levels. If we lose 240, we could dip lower, but this is still favoring upside a little bit more. For AMD, we look a little bit more bullish. As long as we don't end up losing 137, this could attempt to push for 138 and eventually the 140 area. For Coin, we're stuck in the middle. It's going to likely be retesting this support here around the 290 area. We'll see if we bounce off that. If we do bounce, we're looking for 303.8. Let's look for a small dip, then potentially a bounce as time goes on, but watch those levels very closely. For Amazon, we look more bullish. We're trying to break out right here. As long as we don't end up losing 205, we're favoring 210.5 as our potential targets for more upside for Amazon. For Meta, we look more bullish. We'll have to see if we can break out from here. As long as we continue this uptrend, we're looking for 580 as our potential targets. Microsoft's looking more bullish. As long as you don't lose 420, we're favoring a move back up for about 425. And then last but not least, we have Google. Google is just consolidating right now. It's looking a little bit weaker, but it's still trading sideways around that 170 area. So it might dip closer to 170 if that does not hold. A 168 could come, and we'll see if we get a breakout or not. But right now, it's just consolidating. The last thing I'm going to talk about to conclude this video is the VIX. The VIX is remaining bearish at 13.5. It has not been able to hold these supports, especially in the 14s. So it could continue to dip closer to about the 12s if 13.5 fails us. And as of right now, there's no sign of a bounce on the VIX. So it's still favoring that the market's going to continue to push. Now, could the market get a rejection later? It's always a possibility, but there's no sign of that yet. And the market looks bullish for now. Tesla's about to get a bullish cross in the PPO, and we have a cup and handle like pattern. So far, the chart does favor upside a bit more, as long as we don't end up losing 340. So just keep that in mind, guys. Anyways, I thank you all so much for listening. Please have a great rest of your day and enjoy what the weekend has to offer. I'll be back very soon for another video, and peace out.